Today we will talk about strings, some more about strings. In the last video, we analyzed strings in great detail. Today we will talk about indexing of strings and how they are handled and how they are manipulated. So, suppose we have a string called hello. We have a string called hello, and it is stored into this string variable and this is the string variable. So right, this is a string variable, and let's go back to string. So string, we call string a collection of text, right? But a text is just a collection of characters combined together. So here, for example, we have hello. So it is a combination of H, E, L, L, and O. So this is how a string looks like. It is a sequence of characters. Characters are merged together, combined together, however you want to think about it. Uh, but strings are objects in Java, so they work a little differently. So, but this is how a representation of string will look like, and each string has a fixed position. So each character in a string has a position. So our very first character is called known to be at index position 0. So indexing always starts from 0. Unlike the counting, whenever we are dealing with indexing, we start from 0, we count from 0. Then we have E at index 1, then L at index 2, then again L at index 3, and then O at index 4. So we know that each character is at a specific index. So this is called an index, and you can access each character of this string through indexing. Uh, so this is what I was trying to tell you. Uh, so strings are a sequence of characters, and whenever you want to find which character is at what position, you start count from 0. Suppose you are given this string and you are asked to find the index position of 0, O, right? You start from H, you start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our O is at index position 4. So always remember that in indexing, counting starts from 0. The first element is at 0 position, second is at first position, third is at second position, and this is at third position, this is at fourth position. So thus, when the counting starts from 0, each value is decremented by 1. You can think of it like this. For example, if we count from 1, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here we will decrement each 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So this is how indexing works in case of strings. Now we will see how we will work with this, how we will manipulate this. So let's go to our program. So let's use the string class to declare an object called str. Let's pass it hello. Okay. Now let's try accessing its element. So let's try indexing accessing its element. Suppose you want to access its its first character. How would you do that? We know that first character is at index 0. So to access the first character, we simply need to use this function. This function is called, first you write the object name, right? Then you use the dot operator to check all the functions of this string class. Then you use the char at operator, right? Then you pass in the index. So now this value will return the index character stored at this position. Let's print that, right? Let's print that. You can store that into a char data type and then print it, but let's print it directly. So now let's run our program. Now, as you can see, H is getting printed here. We got its first character. Similarly, let's try to access its second character. For second character, we will write the index as 1. So now we will write, now we are getting the E, the second character, right? HE, second character. Similarly, if you want to access the last character, simply write 4. And now we got the O. So yes, you can see we can use the char at function of the string class to access its each character, right? Uh, it can be used to access each character of the string. So this is the main point. If you understood this, you're not gonna have a hard time with strings. And also, instead of printing it directly, you can store it into a character. Let's use the char data type for storing a single character, and you can simply type string dot char at 0. Now the character at 0 index is stored at this ch variable. Let's print ch variable. As you can see, we're getting h printed here. So this is how indexing works. So let's do an example. Let's suppose you want to access and print every character of a string. Let's change our string to like uh, programming. This is our string now. Now you want to access and print its every character. So let's first we need to iterate through every single character, right? But before I begin, I want to show you one more thing. Let's go back. So string class has another function called length. It returns the length of the string, total length. So suppose you want to find the length of this function. We will use string.length. So it will return the length. It will give us the length of this function. We can store it either in an integer or we can simply print it. I will directly print it since there's no need of storing. So it will give us 5. So as you can see, we are getting 5. And now you might be confused. Its last character is 4, but why is it giving 5? Remember, now we are not talking about indexing. We are counting the total number of characters in it. So initially, our count variable was 0. Then here, it after including h, it become 1, then e2, then l3, then l4, then l5. So length is always one number higher than the last index. So this is also what you need to remember. What if you want to access a character outside the range? So suppose you want to access the character at index 5. So as you can see, it will throw an exception telling you that it is out of range. So remember to use the correct index. But let's go back to our example. Let's now we need to iterate through every index. So our string will stay the same, so we don't need to work with this. What will change it is the index. So index of the string will change. Let's try a different variable like programming, and let's use a for loop. So for loop can be is used to iterate through a string. So let's start from 0. So we are starting from 0 since, as you know, our first character starts from 0. If you start from 1, you will be starting from the second character. Then our condition is how long we want to go to. We want to go up to the length minus 1. we want to access the last character. If you do the length only, it will go up to more than the it will go above the index. So that's why I'm using the less of instead of less than equal to, since I want to go up to the last index only, which is length minus 1. Or you can do this less than equal to length minus 1. You can do that instead, but since uh, it's pretty basic, I'm going to keep it like this. Then we are gonna print out every character it has. Let's print it out on the same line or a different line. And we will use again string dot charAt. And this time instead of passing index, we will pass I. Since for each iteration I will be different. And that's why we will get the value of each element, each character, I mean. So as you can see now, the whole string is getting printed. Each character of the string is getting printed here. We got P R O G R M M I N G. So we got programming. So we got our string back, um, and now I hope you understood what how indexing is and how it works. Remember the length function, it gives you the total length of the string, it counts from 0. But in the case of indexing, we count from, uh, sorry, length function counts from 1, but in the case of indexing, we count from 0. And our last character is total length minus 1, and our first character is 0. So that's dealt with. I wanna show you one last thing. I wanna show you how to get a part of string, substring. So now let's say we have string hello. We want to get a part of it. How we want to do that? So let's declare another string called string2. And in string2 we will use the substring function string dot substring, and then we will pass the beginning index. Let's pass 1, and we will pass the ending index. Let's pass 3. Right now, the result of this function, the returning string of this function will be stored into this string. So let's simply print string2. So let's run it. So as you can see, we're getting el printed here. Let's see how it works. So we are telling our string that it starts from 1, right? So it will start from the character at index 1. So h is at 0 index and e is at 1 index. So that's why we have e. Then it goes up to 3. So at 2 index we got L, at 3 we got L again, but L is not getting printed here. So the final value of it is minus 1. So if you want to go up to 3, you need to pass 4. So you need to pass one higher value. So now as you can see, we are getting 1 to 3. Similarly, if you want to do 1 to 4, you have to pass 5. As you can see, I'm getting this. Similarly, if you want to go from 0 to 1, if you want HE only, that is 0 and 1, you do 0 to 2. As you can see, H is getting printed. What if you don't give the beginning index? That's a good question. The ending index, I mean, now we have a beginning index only. So now it is printing the whole whole character, since ending index is this uh, ending index is the last character by default. So this is how substrings work. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.